The mums love the kids, but Ground Zero, they're one series away from being #1 seed. They've already secured Sweden. Can they go as the favorites?
I'm thinking they have a very strong chance right now, Yummy. Already into our first game, Ground Zero, that first team on the attack as well. Forkidden has been the team that starts off strong and sometimes might falter later into a game, later into the series. We thought they may have gotten over that with that first 4-0 over Riot. However, losing that first best of 7, it's so tough to see them coming back against GZ.
And we're already seeing Ground Zero play so confidently too. It's always a danger when Amphis is sitting on that backboard because, you know, most people, if they're in that position, Max, you just ignore them. But if Amphis is behind you on the backboard, you have to credit him, you have to be worried.
It's his favorite place to sort of hide out and wait and play patiently like a spider, you know, waiting for the fly to hit its web. He gets there so often, especially when the team is feeling incredibly confident, especially when he has that faith that the ball will get there in time. So the fact that he's already looking to play that deep, it sort of shows us how confident Ground Zero is.
He's been playing for the dribble too, and now Express is also getting a dribble around the corner. Ground Zero got the first goal in the last series. Can they get the first goal in series number 2? They will.
Yes.
The dish from Amphis. He continues his tirade.
And look where it came from, once again off the backboard. Now, he wasn't sitting there waiting, but just knows how to make these types of shots work. 1-0 lead for Ground Zero, continuing right where they left off.
Ground Zero, very solid start, and maybe even just a continuation, because it is 2 best of 7s, maximum of 21 games if it goes all the way, but you can also get it done in 8, and I think that's the statement Ground Zero would like to make, but Scrub has found an opening.
And Scrub, I still feel like is a player we need to watch out for on that Forkidden side. They have definitely been the most improved player, I feel like, on the Forkidden lineup throughout the 3 regionals. Shots like that are why.
He was playing, I think, really inconsistent, and for a player who is incredibly fast in the air and has great pre-jump sense as well, we expected a lot more from Scrub, but I actually don't think it's just straight down to him. It's more about his positioning and his comfort in the rotation, so it's been a real team effort to allow him to look much better on the pitch.
And it's definitely shown for sure, as another shot, this time from Banana Head. The bump was there from Super Lucky. However, the shot doesn't hit his mark, but that's where Scrub will come through. The team set him up, Yummy, and he knocked it down.
And once again, it's just Scrub being quick, reading this play early. A bump coming out as well from Super Lucky helps Forkidden, and they have a lead here in game number 1.
They had a lead in game number 4 as well, but it didn't really go the distance. Ground Zero with 3 minutes on the clock. You'd have to expect them to make something happen, and off this kickoff, they have the chance. Banana Head did avoid the bump, though, and Forkidden survived the kickoff.
And challenging early was key in that play, in that defense. Can't let Ground Zero have the room. They're going to get another goal. What a save!
No!
And Banana Head can't find it past the post.
Oh, Express's touch, while amazing, didn't have power behind it. Banana Head still left with the chance, doesn't get it through. A little bit of a heartbreak for Forkidden right there. I feel as if they needed that 2-goal cushion.
They're finding each other on the pitch too. Forkidden, the communication stepping up, and that's a pre-jump and a half. Great read on that touch, but it doesn't matter. Torsos getting a bit of a monster flick in that midfield, and that could set up Amphis here, as he instead opts to keep it away from the defense. Look how stacked Forkidden are in the net. It is going to slow them down, but it'll also mean that they can just hold on, and that takes them down to the other end for goal number 3.
Oh, a great counterattack. They were so patient in waiting for that right moment, and I believe it actually started with the bump set up by Scrub across the middle of the pitch that opened the doorway for Super Lucky and Banana Head to play it forward themselves. It eventually does turn into that goal, and Forkidden, for the first time this series, have now a 3-goal cushion after that kickoff.
We even go back to the last goal. Surprising touches coming out from these guys, and a very surprising miss from Amphis. We talk about the Ground Zero kickoffs and how they're the best in the region. I think they try to prove us wrong.
Yeah, that's been a couple shaky ones, none more shaky than what we just saw. Now 3 goals behind. Forkidden This is that hot start they were hoping for back during that last series, Yummy. I mean, they've shown up to play. We were talking about how they haven't given up just yet at the end of that last game. Well, now they're sort of proving why.
You look back at that timeout too that happened after game number 3, and it felt like it just slowly swung the momentum towards Forkidden a little bit, and maybe that's been instrumental here. Alongside the cooldown for Ground Zero could potentially go to goal number 5. Doing that against Ground Zero would be a real statement here at the start of the second series.
I will say this, though, however, in a little bit of defensive Ground Zero right now, they have won 8 games in a row against the best teams of this region. So to let one slip behind, even against an underdog like Forkidden, who are just now establishing themselves, or at least attempting to, as a top 3, top 4 team, it would be massive if they were to win all 8 without faltering at all. So yes, Ground Zero might be sloppy out of the gate. It also plays into Forkidden's strength to be fast at this stage. I feel like Ground Zero shouldn't be panicking yet.
We've also talked a lot about Ground Zero always starting off slow, and even though it's the same match or the same set, it is a new series and there has been time between. That has allowed Forkidden to reset here, and with 30 seconds remaining, Forkidden have done well in game number 1. They're going to secure it.
They just were the poppier team. They were a bit faster, a bit more controlled with the boost, and when they had to be patient, it worked in their benefit as well. A very complete game from the team, already a series down. With 13 seconds left, they're going to ride it all the way through to a Game 1 win.
Ground Zero have really looked soggy as well. They're not sending that person forward anymore for the pass. Express just parking the bus and hoping it would work, but he'd already known that they'd lost the game.
Yeah, I think he was just hoping for a little bit of a miracle right there. Forkidden definitely is going to be
that.
Yeah, just put in an e-brake. Get your little drink out of the way, you know, chill out, relax, recognize you still have a lot of games left. This one will come to its close. Forkidden are up 1-0 in Series 2.
I do hope that that's not a sign that Express kind of chilling there at the end of the game doesn't bleed into the next one, but Forkidden, speaking of coming out hot, they have swung through this one, a hat-trick as well for Banana Head.
Yeah, to go with those 7 shots, Banana Head just leading the charge, it feels like, on the attack. I still want to give credit to Scrub in that positioning as well. Realistically, the entire team just looked on form, and it was almost like a flip. If you were to change the name tags around, it was Ground Zero who, for the most of that last series, really seemed to control the boost, seemed to control that tempo until game 4, when you said they were starting to look a little French, playing like snails. That was the Ground Zero that seemed to carry over, and I'm a little bit concerned, but not pushing the panic button.
We've seen that from Ground Zero too. I mean, that's how they got reverse swept back in RLCS. They just took it a bit too easy. They underestimated their competition. They relaxed, they slowed down, and then it just takes so long when you're playing Rocket League to change the mindset, to speed everything up, to get back to your #1 pace. And if anything is a huge example, Amphis just missing on the kickoff by a mile, that's really telling.
Yeah, and if you need more evidence, we can just go back to Express parking the car in front of the net and be like, yeah, all right, this will work out. Of course, that did happen when the game was over, but still, hopefully we see a bit more fire lit back under Ground Zero, because as much as this is their best chance to take that #1 seed, it can slip away from them if they're not ready.
They've had a big day, of course, as well. The highs of qualifying for the major sends your adrenaline incredibly high, and then on the dip down can get very, very tiring. But that is why we're seeing the likes of Torsos hitting that gym, getting that cardio up there as well. Should give you a little bit more distance, a little bit of mental acuity throughout the day.
And well, now they have a chance. That net looked there for the taking. Torsos tries to spike it down. Will run into 2 defenders. Express holding the pressure down, but it's a commit from Amphis that goes awry. Scrub on the counterattack might be able to find something here. Amphis was able to recover.
As a hidden strength of Forkidden too, they're interesting saves that look like it should be a goal, and it sends a lot of members from Ground Zero going forward. That actually opens up a chance for Forkidden going the other way, and boost advantage now slowly heading towards Forkidden, as Amphis has to do as much as he can in the corner to buy some time.
Yeah, time was successfully bought, however. Torsos now going to try to utilize it. Good bump from Amphis, yet it's Scrub from behind that disrupts the play. Now Super Lucky nearly has that open net. Could have had Banana Head as well. Ground Zero's defense, again, doing just enough to hold on.
Banana Head has Super Lucky in support here, and they uses him wisely. Super Lucky having the advantage in that situation because, well, Banana Head didn't have the boost. But Ground Zero don't know that. He's commed it to his teammate. It gives the advantage to that Forkidden offense. They may even be able to convert here as another shot rings out. Banana Head still looking for demos too. He's turned this game into a physical one.
This is a very angry Banana, just taking shots, bumping Ground Zero around, looking to be that offensive force. A lot of potassium in this kid right now, and it's showing on the field. Scrubbed out with that shot, nearly connects with Banana Head. This time the defense gets the save.
He just hasn't been able to split the defense thus far, but he's starting to peel it away little by little. Forkidden, Banana Head in particular, doing his best.
I hate that, and I hate that so much, but you're absolutely right, and I don't think we want to throw some ice cream on him and cool him down just yet. Super Lucky will go for a solo dribble, though. Amphis, last possible moment, makes the save. Banana Head spikes it through, and that shot was the nuts. It's going to be a 1-0 lead for Forkidden.
A very sweet goal coming out from Banana Head to once again get the first one on the board. You haven't seen this too much against Ground Zero today, but Forkidden, how have they turned the table so hard?
It's just a great turnaround from this side. They've been able to get that speed, that edge that they were lacking back in that second series, as though Ground Zero, they are coming in with this kickoff looking very, very aggressive themselves. They're playing on that forward half. A good interception from Torsos looking for Amphis. Scrub can only slow it down. Someone's got to be underneath. It's expressed from an odd angle. A little bit surprising. Ground Zero, though, they're still goal hunting. Shot should come through, but Amphis is off his mark.
That looks ridiculous. Amphis again, the player of RLCS, and he is completely going wide on that goal. It was a great setup for Ground Zero. Starting to look a little bit shaky here on the offense, and I mean, that's surprising. You normally see Ground Zero dominating offenses.
I feel like it was the angle that kept, wait, what?
Okay.
Torsos? Yep. All right, so that's the point of the slow strategy, Yummy, so you can just slowly drive it in.
That extra weight on that one. It looks like he's originally going for a potential pinch, going for a quick play, and that sent two members of Forkidden to that front post into the awkward position. It ended up just being a very smart play from Torsos.
It was, and he got enough drive right there to really fake out that defense. Speaking of faking about the double commit, both players whiffed, but the shot just was not on.
That's two shots as well from Amphis that he hasn't found on target. He's the player we're expecting to be sinking all of these, as Torsos is playing very grounded too. That's another flick play right in front of the net. Ground Zero couldn't yet seal that second goal.
And I love how Scrub is immediately in the zone of Express, just not allowing them to find that deep clear for Kidden. Want to keep that ball on that orange side of the pitch as long as possible. Scrub again is going to try to make the space happen. Awkward touch from Torsos, was forced to throw it back, but it won't lead to a goal just yet. I'm looking at this series overall. This could be so massive if Forkidden is able to take game number 2, because that will give them the confidence to probably take this series.
It does feel like the slowdown is more Ground Zero playing it too safe, and that's playing right into Forkidden's hand, because they're the ones now taking control, taking the risk. They almost score another goal as Forkidden continually testing Ground Zero's patience in the defense. This could be a chance too. Super Lucky, it goes ringing off the corner. It's left a dent over there.
Amphis just got all of that, wanting no part of the ball sticking around on the orange side of the field, and now Ground Zero marching their way, or at least we're trying to march their way towards one last offensive effort. 15 seconds away from our third overtime in this Ground Zero. That still could be broken apart if Banana Head can find something here. Tries to slow it down once more. Amphis from the goal line only gets a little bit of space. Time tick-tocks down. All what Torsos needs to do is spike it, but instead looks to go the other way from underneath. Amphis through the corner. Banana Head downs it. Overtime number 3.
I am liking that Forkidden are being much more creative with their touches in the attack. They are not rushing and just hitting the ball towards the net, and it is going to make them much more dangerous. Though Scrub, he was missing that ball. Banana Head bailing him out. It's gone down to the other end, and Banana Head may even have the pass play down to center. It's a shot, but it goes well wide to the corner.
Yeah, Torsos just putting themselves in the perfect spot right there, forcing that wide touch. A little bit unfortunate for Ground Zero, though. They're still on that back half, and these shots are looking closer and closer from the Forkidden side. Should be worth noting, though, every overtime thus far has gone Ground Zero's way. Amphis and Torsos each have stepped up once before, looking to do it again, but this time Banana Head will get underneath.
Change of pace as well coming out from Amphis, by the demo from Banana Head. He's gotten a lot of demos the last few games. This series has changed up for him as he's a major impact player for this Forkidden roster in that offensive half. But Scrub's been the one scoring goals, gets the flip reset. Banana Head now gets a pass, but it's gone high. Another shot coming out from Super Lucky, but Scrub's misread that bounce off the roof. That was a golden opportunity to take the overtime.
Forkidden, though, is still hunting. Ground Zero wasn't able to clear it out despite the unforced error. Perhaps Forkidden might be able to turn this back around. Scrub has an opening shot. Target save made by Torsos. Banana Head again keeping it there. Ground Zero is just not allowed to leave their backboard. Banana Head gets the bump. Super Lucky gets the touch. And Forkidden go up 2-0 on the day.
Bump, 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 bump. Banana Head has absolutely slaughtered Ground Zero. And that's opened it up. Forkidden 2 games in a row after they just got swept.
We talk about, these players looking to get more of that physical exercise, some of them going to the gym, some of them hitting the beach and that fishing. I wonder if Banana Head's taking up boxing at the end of today, because he has been throwing punches on that Ground Zero back line, and it's opening pathways for Forkidden. They look so much better when they get physical, and now 2 games up in this second series, Forkidden, they have a chance.
And it felt like this is the play style and what they needed to bring out at least for these games, because Ground Zero, as we said, have slowed it down, especially in their defensive half. That's going to open them up to those bumps. And so Forkidden, they're playing very intelligently. They're playing the way that's going to win them these games.
It's why T-ball is always so much easier than baseball. When you have your target just sitting right there in front of you, not moving, you can't help but want to smack it as hard as you can. And tactical timeout now for Ground Zero. I think they're recognizing, hold on, this isn't going how we planned it. Forkidden wasn't supposed to take 1, let alone 2 games off of us. It's time to bring it back, and I imagine Jimma is giving them the prep top they need.
Your hand-eye coordination as well, Formal. I mean, is there something easier than T-ball? Is it possible that there's something that we could set you up to be successful for?
I don't want to talk about my T-ball days. Look, I mean, I'm not terrible at hand-eye coordination. I just like to think, sometimes it's good to sort of get the exercise, swing your arms around. That's the flail approach. Still, speaking of, flailing, sometimes it felt like Ground Zero's defense was flailing at times with how far forward Forkidden was playing.
Yeah, it was very medieval gameplay of them, but there were moments like this on Torsos where the slow play worked in their favor, but it is very surprising to see from Ground Zero. I mean, it almost looks like that first event when they were getting absolutely shocked by Renegades. They slowed it down. They were never pushing people forward. We're not seeing Amphis up there. And often that's as well down to how Forkidden are playing. They're the ones applying so much pressure to Ground Zero.
But it's interesting to me because we did see similar pressure get applied by the Juiced Bandits earlier today, yet it was without that physicality. Yes, occasionally Hawk was going for one of those bumps, but they weren't always connecting on it. And Banana Head was showing what happens when you do make that contact, when you are able to cause those types of disruptions. In Ground Zero, they looked a bit shaky at the tail end of this one. Now, still plenty of time to come back in this series. It's only been 2 games, yet if Forkidden can force Ground Zero into a reverse sweep situation, we could be looking at a 3rd series.
We'll be looking early on in this game to see if the pace has been sped up or what it is that Ground Zero have done in that tactical timeout. And as we'll be talking about, after 2 game losses, that's the perfect time to do it, and this is the perfect time to score. I mean, you have to say it, Torsos, he's never slowed down.
No, Torsos has been consistent throughout, and not just this game, not just this match, not even just this regional. Torsos has been, at least in my eyes, the standout player so far this season for Ground Zero. Of course, he'd be the one to start trying to bring that momentum back to get that first goal.
Statistically, he's up there too. He's the only player from Ground Zero in the top 5 goal scorers across this season, which is surprising when you've got Amphis there, who historically has been one of the top goal scorers. In fact, he is the top point scorer of all time in points per game. That's assists and goals combined. Amphis, he's getting on the board again. Okay, things have heated up.
Look at this squishy save from Express, though, perfectly placed down to Amphis. That was so clean out of ground zero. Of course they're going to make that work. 2 points in favor of the team looking to be the number 1 seed.
You know, sometimes you just forget about Express, and that's because not because he's a bad player, but because he's usually not needed. But in times, he's been the one to knock home that home run, to become the player on ground zero, to put Torsos and Amphis on his back. And I like this right now. Torsos going for the bump. He's really trusting Express, and even though it wasn't successful, it is going to throw Forkidden a little bit off kilter.
Yeah, it's just showing this new approach Ground Zero has.
Express now.
Going for it. Oh my gosh, just muzzling Super Lucky away. Not allowed to play defense. Nearly leads to Amphis getting it over the top of Banana Head. However, I feel Banana Head almost is the player who you want to be bumping around. A, for revenge. B, just because of how physical they've been. What a snipe by Express. 3-point lead now for Ground Zero.
Okay, we see this all the time from Ground Zero. When they start having trouble, when they have a little bit of a break, they just send people forward for those bumps. They say that it's a confidence thing, that when they're confident, they'll rush those bumps. I think it's the opposite. When they go for those bumps, when they just force them out, they become a lot more confident.
Yeah, it was a very strong choice. I still just can't help but feel like Torsos was playing keep away with the kids right there, both literally and a little bit metaphorically, just holding that ball out in front of him. It felt like they were chasing him down, and eventually it did lead to the Express opening. A 3-point lead already for GZ, and this is looking much more like that return to form we were hoping to see.
Ground Zero, yeah, they're playing piggy in the middle at the moment with Forkidden, and it's going well, but there's still 3 minutes remaining. It's hard to even imagine there's only been 2 minutes for these 3 goals, and they still try to apply more pressure.
Yeah, Torsos is just in next level with some of these touches right now, and nothing Forkidden can do to stop them, just holding that ball over their head saying, come at me. And Forkidden are trying, don't get me wrong, they're trying to attack the knees, this time being Amphis and Express. That's where a lot of the bumps have been, but this time, well, we got the knee guards on. Ground Zero looking a lot more consistent so far in our 3rd game.
I mean, it always feels like they're putting their hand out on top of the foreheads of Forkidden, and they're just swinging away, and it's not being successful. None of them are connecting, and even when they get close, it's not going to go in, but finally, Super Lucky strikes.
I still appreciate Banana Head trying to get that touch just to get the point for the goal at the end right there. However, it won't get much more open than that looking forward. Forkidden do get one back in Ground Zero. It may have been a strong start for them. 2:19 remaining if they want to close Game 3 out.
Doesn't matter how good your start is, there's still plenty of time, and Forkidden have shown throughout this series and even throughout this set that they're able to make the right adjustments. They knew that they had to go for the bumps when it was slowed down, and now they know that there's chances for Ground Zero to overcommit. When they're going for those demos, they're taking somebody out of the play to do so, and they'll be able to quickly take advantage of that.
I still love that touch on defense right there. Amphis unable to spike it down, but does get it to the corner. Expect someone to challenge in the middle of the field. I mean, Banana Head was too, but Ground Zero giving up so much space. It was a very delayed play out of Express. Nearly does work out until Scrub regains control.
Ground Zero, again, they're desperate to play for this #1 seed. You need to get this series, and Banana Head doesn't want to let them. Banana Head another goal, and Forkidden only one away.
This is getting interesting indeed. Torsos attempting that squishy save, not able to get there. Forkidden find a way to come back after a 3-point deficit to take this 3rd game. That's going to make some waves. That's going to shake things up, I feel. They have another chance off the kickoff. That one only just going high.
It feels like Ground Zero aren't quite chasing the demos like they were before. Maybe I'm wrong. Torsos called him off when you saw Express had a good angle on that, but is this going to cost Ground Zero? There was almost a bump in front of net, and that was going to be the equalizer there for Forkidden.
If that play was just a little bit faster, Yummy, it was going in for Forkidden. They're going back to looking for these counterattacks. They're going back to trying to create this space whenever Ground Zero overcommits, and they've gotten close on a few occasions. They've gotten a couple through, less than a minute remaining. They need this last goal. If Ground Zero is allowed back in the series, the idea of going to, well, a third best of 7 becomes less and less likely. Banana Head gets demoed before making the touch.
Good clear out from Amphis too. In a vital moment, they need to win this game, and they need to hold on for 40 seconds after what's been a ruthless Forkidden attack, and now they have a chance, but Super Lucky barges in on top of Banana Head. That causes somewhat of a double commit, and it's going to slow down this attack with 20 seconds remaining. They can't afford to lose another chance.
They haven't been able to get boost, so they're making what little boost they have try to work for this final 15 seconds. Super Lucky does rotate back, but then isn't able to get involved with the play. Amphis, with the speed, doesn't get it past midfield. Last opening for Forkidden. Super Lucky will put it up. Express holds it in the corner for now. Scrub in reverse, misses the ball, but it may have worked out. Banana Head touches it towards Scrub. Shot saved, and Ground Zero survive.
Forkidden. What a late charge out from them, and I'm really impressed by the intelligence of this young, inexperienced roster. Usually when a team does this, they completely change up their playstyle. They come out and, as you saw, Ground Zero go for a billion demos and really just change the pace of the game. It usually takes till after the game for their opponents to then adapt again. But Forkidden were able to do that in the middle of the game, and that's why they were able to mount a comeback.
Yeah, it's actually still a nervous situation for Ground Zero. I feel the shot differential kind of highlighted that. Forkidden did finish the game with a couple more shots than Ground Zero overall, so it still feels as if Forkidden, it's almost their series to lose right now. However, Ground Zero is back in form. They looked really, really strong for those first 2 minutes, and if they can continue to play at that level, I don't want to write Ground Zero off, especially, well, because they just won.
It's also a very funny statistic there. Scrub had 83 points and 52 ball touches. You normally get 2 points per ball touch, so I'm not 100% sure how that worked, but maybe some of those were coming off the kickoff, maybe they were from dribble plays. But Scrub was such a highly effective player in that first game, intercepting, shutting down what Ground Zero were trying to do. So it will be interesting and keen to see if he does step up in this next game.
I'm curious what Scrub could have done to make Psyonix give him negative points during that game. Like, where's there some boost steals that we didn't really quite catch where he was taking things away from the teammates? Like, all right, dock you 5 for that, or an unforced error we didn't catch, dock another 10 to keep him down that low, because from my eye test, it looked like Scrub was playing well. Speaking of which, game number 4 is going to be all Scrub as Forkidden strike first.
We wanted him to step up, and he does it in 8 seconds. Super lucky as well. Finding the gap, finding the backboard, and Scrub is so quick up to that.
And once again, it's Ground Zero on the back foot already. Forkidden, they look like an entirely different beast this second best of 7. I want to know where they were during that first series. Perhaps they were the team that needed to warm up, as, well, they shouldn't have needed that time. They did just play. They said it was the most boring series they've ever played. Well, they're making this one of the most exciting.
They could be looking for a third series here, and almost reminds me of that first event, but it was Renegades doing this over Ground Zero, and it was the Ground Zero comeback. Well, Forkidden showing that they really have legs here. Still a long way to go in the game, obviously, but whenever they have got this first goal, they have looked so much better in the game.
That said, I love that demo, and I love that pass from Ground Zero. They're looking to set themselves up once more. Super Lucky just a bit too quick for Express, though. And once again, it will be Forkidden actually looking to test the Ground Zero defense. Super Lucky, a little bit awkward. We'll let that one slip up behind.
Scrub has a play across as well, and keeping control of the ball. I like that from Scrub. It keeps Ground Zero out of even contention of challenging. And he was the player, again, that we kind of criticized a lot throughout the season so far, that looked like he was looking shaky, and now he's coming out and being the superstar. Yeah, you're a bit worried about that own goal, but it was pretty safe that entire time, and even going to go down the other way. It's a miss there from Torsos. An extra touch on the corner may have helped as it goes down the other end, and that's almost a goal, but cleared out by Ground Zero.
Look, there's been too many own goals and near miss own goals today already. I'm always going to be a little bit nervous.
Surely.
Yeah, no, of course not, right? How could that ever be the case? Either way, Amphi's strike looked good. Super Lucky save looked a little bit better. They're still looking for it, but I don't spy a point being scored just yet. Super Lucky will push it across midfield.
And Forkidden are just so good at their saves right in front of their net. It feels like you need to create some more space and actually lure them more into the midfield than be able to take those back-to-back shots in front of net. I mean, how rare has that actually worked out for Ground Zero that they get it into that zone and they're able to beat a defender?
Yeah, it hasn't been too frequent throughout this game in particular. I feel like Ground Zero has found success doing that in the past, just not against Forkidden. Super Lucky, a chance for a big double touch will be shut down off the backboard.
Forkidden, though, still have the attack in a scrub again. Mechanically looking good, positionally looking good, and even strategically looking good, but no, strategically, that's gone all wrong. Forkidden, a late challenge, and end-to-end goes Express.
Everything was looking so good until you straight up missed the ball. Express able to drive that straight. Realistically, though, that was a very devilish flick out of the more veteran member from Ground Zero. Very well done. Tie ball game now, 1 apiece. Forkidden, it was looking strong for them before. Could be good again, but no one's there to punish.
Forkidden, though, still a tied-up game, and they're still searching for this goal. They haven't slowed down for a second here, but that could be a problem when you've got Ever searching for the ball.
Nice ball.
He gets it. That is creative, and yet Forkidden have the backup. They see it coming.
Yeah, Banana Head just sitting back, watching that ball, not letting any of Ground Zero's physicality distract them, and the result was a very nice save. Will they be able to do it again, though? Ground Zero might have a chance unless Super Lucky can keep that possession. Express actually beats out 2 attackers. Now it can easily go that other way. Banana Head, though, once more finds another beautiful defensive touch.
And Forkidden, they've never been held back in these games, but you can still see so many of these moments when they're on attack and it's only one person with the boost. I want to see the boost levels. That's going to be the winner there for Forkidden, and they won't have the chance to do it. Ground Zero with the boost management and the follow-up here and the demo as well.
Yeah, but when you look at the boost, it was still Ground Zero coming into that attack with very minimal boost. Forkidden realistically should have been able to match that tempo. It goes back to what I was saying on the desk. Ground Zero is deceptive with how they can make minimal amounts of boost look so good when on the attacking half.
No, but that's because some of them have some boost. It's not one person with all the boost. It's not one person with 100 and the other 2 with 0. When it's Ground Zero, they have 3 people with 30 boost, so they can all be part of the play. They can all go up for an aerial. They can all speed out to a ball when they need to. That's been the biggest problem for me for Forkidden. And you can even see it now. They're in attack, and there's only one person left with boost, but they have boost because they went all the way back to their own corner.
Yeah, and that just leaves you so out of sorts, especially when you need that goal the most right now. Forkidden, under 30 seconds to go. A pass across to Super Lucky, a bit too much juice behind this one. Still, though, they'll be looking to center it somehow, some way. Well, they centered it straight over to the Ground Zero side. Not sure Ground Zero will be able to keep the ball there. Big demo, open net, and we have a tie ball game once again.
Ground Zero, they didn't need a push for this goal, but Forkidden has seen it happen, and that's a great demo from Scrub. It has been all Scrub game number 4.
Just scrubbing themselves clean of all of those negative game traits we saw before. As Banana Head off the kickoff, almost is able to make something. Still 5 seconds to go. Shot will come through, though, and Amphis takes it right back.
Oh, Forkidden, you worked so hard for this, and it's just one little play out from Torsos. You didn't expect him to even be there, and they just didn't have the reaction time to get the pinch down to the other end. Forkidden, 2 seconds left. They go for the fake kickoff. It may even work a chance here for
No way!
Gets it high. It's touchdown.
Scrub's
It's
under.
right in front of them.
No!
Scrub can't get to it. Ground Zero equalize.
Oh my goodness, it was there for the taking, Yummy. It doesn't get much closer than that. Scrub, who's normally so good in those situations. I don't like dropping the pressure word, however, sometimes when things are lining up, but you still need to be in that right spot, little mistakes can happen. So unfortunate, yet Ground Zero, they survive. They've evened this series up.
You can't blame him. When it goes zing, zang, zoom off the top corner, it's so hard for Scrub to read exactly how far it's got to come out, where he needs to be, and that ends up being a little bit of a panic, but I do like this play. You lose two games in a row, you call the tactical timeout. That's the rule. Anybody breaks that rule, I'm going to yell at them on the cast. But Forkidden have done it. We've seen that it's worked for them in the past for these tactical timeouts, and maybe even here for Scrub, the length of the day could be starting to get to him. He's just rubbing his head. He's getting himself a little bit relaxed here. It has been a very tiring day.
So here's something I've noticed between both the teams in these tactical timeouts. Granted, we're only seeing Scrub. We can't see what the rest of the team is doing. I appreciated how Ground Zero used their tactical timeout to actually get up, walk around, stretch it out a bit, reset that mental. It looks like Scrub rather sit in place, probably being fed instructions as well from the team/coach in these types of situations. I don't know, I feel like just being able to stand up and stretch could go such a long way, and that's what I'd be using these brief moments for.
You say that, but it's always Amphis the one getting up, right? And he's also the one after every single game taking a huge swig of water. We all know what he's getting up for. But either way, it's still like a great opportunity to stretch your legs, to keep yourself loosened up, and even just a few stretches, a few jumping jacks gets your blood going and gets that blood to your brain so you can keep active and keep high focus.
Especially on these long days as well. I mean, it's been a longer one. You're in your third best of 7 right now with so much more pressure than any of the past ones. If you're on Forkidden, Ground Zero, I still think they might have been feeling a bit more of the nerves against Juice Bandits considering what was at stake, although as they get closer and closer to that #1 seed, that could shift around. Opening kickoff, Amphis not showing any nerves, almost gets one by Forkidden.
We finally see the kickoffs going Ground Zero's favor too after talking about it all tournament long. Scrub's going for the bump. He's instead found the redirect. For Ground Zero is thankful that Amphis was staying back and able to avoid both the bump and get to that ball. Forkidden, always looking deadly, always looking to get on the attack and even making Ground Zero panic a little.
Yeah, that was a very good reaction from the Forkidden side. Although it does seem as if they are keeping a couple defenders back this time around. Torsos, we've seen him make a few of those already today, I feel like. Good job by the defense to see it through.
They went for the early challenge. They didn't wait for the shot. They didn't back themselves to make the save. They got up to it quickly, and that's part of the respect too from Torsos. They know that he can make that play. Even Express can make that play, but it's gone too far away from a good angle. That was on target. It's now gone to the other end. Express just getting a touch on it, and he needed to because Super Lucky was breathing down his neck.
Yeah, one of those big problem areas if you commit too hard. Forkidden, they're strong on those counterattacks. That is an awkward read as well from Express. Ground Zero, fortunate that for it feels like the first time in this series, Forkidden were opting to play passive.
Something beautiful about kids, you know, is that they'll just tell the truth. They'll just speak their mind, and they usually disrespect their opponents. But in that play, Forkidden backed off thinking that Express would get the best touch possible, that it would be a clear. They could just go for that ball a lot more, put the pressure on, send that first man forward, and then have a bit more success.
I think Banana Head needs to channel a bit more of that energy we saw during the interview right now. Once again, it's what's gotten them into this tied situation right now. When we look at our game score in this series, it was when Banana Head was getting physical. It's when Banana Head was finding those demos. It's been a little bit quieter as of late during Ground Zero's comeback. Maybe they can find that aggression once more.
Big clear down, and Amphis has the follow, but nicely done by Super Lucky. Always trying to pace Ground Zero to that ball. A flick on net, and that's in. Amphis has read the touch off the backboard, and Ground Zero get the first goal.
Smartest player in OCE, right, Yummy? It's because of plays like this.
It's very difficult to read where your opponents are going to touch, but you can see the slight awkwardness on the backboard there. The fact that it was just underneath the crossbar and he had to jump out for it lowers the amount of angles he can go for. And Amphis doing what I wanted Forkidden to do. He kind of disrespected them a little bit.
Yeah, I still find it funny whenever anyone kind of signifies him as the smartest player in the region, but you can't argue it when they can make those types of reads like that on the field. And right now, it is Ground Zero still hunting for yet another one. They're playing so tight against Forkidden, not giving them any breathing room. And even when they find it, it's just Amphis' touch straight back to that backboard, although no follow-up this time. An unfortunate miss from Super Lucky will get possession right back to the orange side.
I was surprised that Ground Zero were ready to challenge that. I mean, that clear out was coming from minutes away almost. So very interesting to see that they're playing a much more defensive role. Maybe don't want to overcommit and know that the bumps are going to come through, so they need to have the backup. In fact, Express was getting bumped there. He needed backup, and Forkidden have tied up.
That's a huge goal for this Forkidden side. Super Lucky with the dunk, and Express just pressured out into an awkward spot in the air. Very well read by the Forkidden team, and that's what I want to see. The aggression, the getting it back in Ground Zero's face. I go back to that boxing analogy because that's what we kind of want to see between these two teams, a real sort of knockout fight.
A strong angle as well from Banana Head, and we've kind of talked in length about all of the players on Forkidden. They've taken turns on who's having the most impact. Last game it was all about Scrub, and even earlier in the series it was all about Scrub, but Banana Head's had his huge moments too, not just in this series, not just in this set, but throughout the day, and Super Lucky has just remained consistent throughout. We'll see if we find the same thing from Ground Zero, because Express, you know, we talked about him once, but maybe need a little bit more from him, as he's actually the one to push forward. But again, Banana Head getting physical.
Torsos, though, is going to get physical right back. Nearly opens the door for Amphis. Express there. Scrub had that one read and actually follows it through underneath, looking for a teammate to dish it down to, but no one from Forkidden was willing to commit. So back on defense we go. Ground Zero playing off that backboard. Ball's going to waterfall down. Scrub gets there first. Now we see the counterattack. Now we see the strike. It's off the post and not in.
That's a missed opportunity. That could have been a game and maybe even series winner right there from Forkidden. They won't be able to score, and that means another tough battle in the midfield. We're starting to see opportunities rise up, because this has been actually a pretty low scoring affair, especially for both Forkidden and Ground Zero. There's both of them looking to hold steadfast on the defense. Torsos with a pitch.
That looks good.
Is there. He's hit the crossbar.
Amphis, what has happened to you from that last series? You were making those shots again. You were back in form. You needed this one to go through, but no! From downtown, one last chance from Ground Zero. They won't be able to fight it just yet. Torsos has boost to play with. Scrub has a reset off the roof. Doesn't make the read. Super Lucky does, and we go to overtime.
Those are the pre-jumps from Scrub that are forcing Ground Zero to have to be, I guess, more mechanical with their plays, and in doing so slows it down. That's a touch, that's it! Torsos again!
Torsos off these kickoffs are one of the reasons why Ground Zero is considered to have the best in the region. What a read off that backboard, 99 kilometers per hour, and Ground Zero, they now are on tournament point.
He's been doing that since RLCS Season 3. The king of the backboard, Torsos. Hey, he's kept it simple, but that brings us back to the glory days. The days where Torsos couldn't help but make it overseas to Worlds as the #1 seed.
Well, now they're one game away from doing it yet again. This turnaround from Forkidden, it has been impressive, yet we cannot take away the fact that Ground Zero has now won 3 games in a row with yet another overtime victory. I believe that's the 4th of our grand final alone. This team has just been coming through each and every time when it matters the most.
You look back at the timeout call, and that's when everything switched over for Ground Zero. They switched their game plan, they went for more demos, and even if they didn't continue going for them, it made Forkidden think more. It made Forkidden change their game, and then Ground Zero can feel a little bit more comfortable. That being said, we're still seeing plenty of chances for Forkidden. There's plenty of opportunities for them to get these goals, and it just hasn't quite squeaked through.
And that's what I kind of find interesting about Forkidden right now. Usually this has been historically that coin flip team, right? Either they would look amazing or they would be struggling. But I feel like with these past couple games, including their 2 wins, they have been looking amazing even in defeat at this stage. They really are giving their best shot at ground zero, and we can see how much it's challenging them. So when we look towards the future as well for this Forkidden side, win or lose this game, I'm going to be excited to see what they can bring out in winter after they're able to continue to practice and solidify this new play style.
Oh, that's no goal. No, nicely saved out. And as you said, very impressed by Forkidden throughout this series. You think all the way back to the very beginning of this set of tournaments, this split. And Forkidden, they were so far behind Direwolves and Riot. They were losing series that earlier on they were blasting away. And they have grown so much over this split, over RLCS X into now as well. You can't help but to think they are going to be a top contender in that next split, but they still have the chance here to take this game. Another shot, ground zero, have been making all the saves.
Look, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Kids are impatient, Yummy. They still might want to make that statement right now, and you're right, they are not done yet. Torsos going to try to create some space, does just wind up slowing things down, and once again, it's the kids on that attack.
As far as I'm concerned, they've already made every statement they need to, but what a statement it would go if they could take down ground zero, even in one series at the moment. Take it one series at a time. And it's not going to be good if that goes in, but it comes off the post and Banana Head gets a touch to keep it away. Ground zero have been fierce, and yet Forkidden have been making the saves.
3 balls off the post, though, so far in our opening minute and a half here in Game 6. I'm starting to feel like it's a matter of time before ground zero can get one through. Torsos looking. Banana Head this time will shut it down. It's a double commit into the corner, though. Express doesn't get it past the second defender. Super Lucky slows it down. Amphis follows up. Torsos doesn't like that look. Had to abandon the shot. It could have been the opening there.
Amphis accidentally scooped it up. He was meant to just get that straight across, beaming to his teammate. That extra height made it difficult to get up to, but ground zero starting to potentially apply some pressure here, and the demo is going to help that out. It causes a miss in front, and Ed is floating up there. Super Lucky closes up the angle, but Torsos, another first goal. Torsos is everywhere.
How does Amphis find this bump as well, though? Spots Scrub and just smacks him out of the way. Torsos gonna smack that ball as well. Ground zero now in control of their destiny, under 3 minutes away from being Oceania's #1 seed.
They've done it. I mean, the start of this season was so poor for ground zero, and yet they scraped a top 2. Only just getting through the first semi-finals, and all of a sudden they've brought it back to a potential win, but Scrub, he's going to shut that down and instantly with another one.
Oh, you worked so hard for that go-ahead goal, but in one mistake, Scrub will take it right back to an even score line. Very well done by the Forkidden member, and half of the way through game number 6. Game still on a knife's edge. Ground zero, they've got to work that a little bit harder once more.
That was off a pull touch as well. We saw Banana Head hitting Scrub into that ball to provide surprising amount of power. Super Lucky with a flip reset. Love to see it, and love to see this counterattack coming out from ground zero, punishing the overcommit that almost happened there for Forkidden, but it doesn't last too long. Bit of midfield players. Forkidden do find some extra ground here, but it doesn't last when Amphis is always ready to push forward to get for the bumps in the air. Ground zero now looking for that goal, almost finding it, but again saved out by Banana Head. Amphis has the air dribble, finds it past Scrub, but Super Lucky comes in as the Superman of the defense.
Banana Head had a chance for the clear as well. Doesn't make contact, but Super Lucky making space, making shots off the backward, not quite in. Now it's Torsos' turn to be the hero. However, Banana Head does find it, and Forkidden take a very late lead. They're back out in front.
Huge angle from Banana Head, but I can't believe Super Lucky was able to squeeze past every defender and get the extra touch. They're looking for this game 7.
They might have it 100 seconds, 100 very long seconds right now for Forkidden to keep themselves alive. Can they hold off this dynamic ground zero attack? It's Amphis off the backboard looking for Torsos. Shot off the post again, Yummy. They just can't get these through.
More disappointment for Ground Zero. They could have had 2 extra goals here. They could have been in the lead if they were just accurate enough. And that's a huge pre-jump from Banana Head too that absolutely shuts down Ground Zero. Good touch though from Amphis, looking for another one, but Banana Head, he's making saves left, right and center, and it's even cleared out. Ground Zero, and now scored on. No, it doesn't go in. Banana Head has stepped up, but Ground Zero hold on.
Angry Banana Head right now is refusing to allow Forkidden to lose. Ground Zero, though, they're still looking for that goal, but Banana Head finds it first, and Forkidden find the 2-goal cushion. They may have just found game number 7.
All we've been talking about is Banana Head, and for good reason. Another goal set up by Scrub with Banana Head scoring, but it was off of 2 good defensive plays from Banana Head.
Oh, it was just a defensive showcase, it feels like, for Forkidden throughout all of that. Ground Zero giving their best shots, and somehow, some way, this team is able to hold on, and now they're looking to add another goal, perhaps. Banana Head finds the top left bin. We're going to go to a game 7, Yummy.
Top bins for Banana Head, and that is his hat trick at the same time. Amphis had no boost, looking a little bit silly, but that is the decision he made, to stay on the ground so he could cover more sideways direction on the net.
This is looking, I still can't help but feel like the parallels from our first regional final back when it was Renegades versus Ground Zero. I'm getting such similar vibes right now with Forkidden now playing the role of Ground Zero. The thing is, they nearly almost got another one right there. I mean, again, we look at the pressure, what this game means to both of these teams right now, and you feel like it just means so much more for Ground Zero. That last hurdle, it's always the hardest, and Forkidden, they're playing on house money almost. They're making it so difficult as a result.
There's still a lot to play for Forkidden. Imagine they take down Ground Zero, and imagine they become the champions. Looks like a little quick break here as, again, these are long series, long days, and probably a bathroom break there for Scrub. Forkidden, though, 4-1. That's one of the biggest deficits we've seen in this series.
I think a big stat that kind of shocks me as well was Torsos only with 28 ball touches. That was the least amount of touches we've seen from Torsos yet during this grand final. Just not as involved as they've been in the past. And I think it shows when you see Torsos with the ball with space, the way how they're playing today, they are that Ground Zero playmaker, but just not allowed to play this 6th game.
When he did have the touches, he was impressive. I mean, he set up that first goal too, or he created that first goal. And yet, it hasn't been enough, as they haven't looked so threatening for most of this. They haven't been accurate as well. They could have been in a 3-2 and maybe in a position where they didn't feel like they needed to push so hard. And when you've got Banana Head constantly stepping it up over and over and over again, it gets very tough to just hold out on that defense.
It's like a little fruit fly just constantly buzzing around that ball and just hitting it whenever you least expect it to. Really impressed with Forkidden's approach, and not so impressed seeing Amphis kind of running into teammates in the back of the goal right there. It happens, I understand still. Forkidden right now with a chance to pull off yet another upset in a regional that has been ripe full of them. If they can take this game, if they can go to series number 3, I would be left speechless for a lot of reasons.
Game number 7.
Oh,
It's
no!
open off the kickoff. You gotta be kidding me.
All of that momentum, all of that work, and it might go away in a flash. Torsos. Hey, best kickoff in the region because of Torsos. That's why 1-0 lead Ground Zero.
It felt like Banana Head was going for the hardest read of his life. He's, this is going to pinch out, and as soon as it says solid, he just rushed off for the boost. And his first goal for Ground Zero. It's worked for them in the past, but not in that last game. No. So they'll be looking for a second goal. They'll be looking to push forward, and we'll see if those demos come out. They had a little extra time to chat between that game and this one to turn things around.
And at the same token, Forkidden knows they don't need to be too over-aggressive in these types of situations. It took them 2.5 minutes before they found their own first goal in that last game, and they finished it 4-1. So Banana Head, they're still going to look for shots right now. Triple commit by the defense, however, with no power behind it, they still should be able to stay nice and snug. Shot, though, from Super Lucky does squeak in, and we got a tie game once again.
And that's what happens when Ground Zero begin to panic. Used up all the boost, so Torsos couldn't do much there, and Super Lucky's threaded the needle. In fact, that's an own goal. It was squished over the top of the defense. Own goal number 3 in the grand finals.
I told you we were going to see one more. I called that one, so another point for Formal, but more importantly, a big point for Forkidden, as they are right back in this big bump out of Torsos. Not enough to get it past Banana Head.
Oh, that was close, though. There's a bit of a surprise play coming out for Forkidden, and a surprise bump, too. There's a chance here for Banana Head. He goes for the bump, and he's found it. Forkidden, they're in the lead.
Of course, Banana Head is going to find a way to get both the shot as well as the bump to knock it through. Our slowest goal, I feel like, of the grand final yet, 33 kilometers per hour, but it's enough to put Forkidden now in match point. Now can they hold on for 4 long minutes?
Banana Head's been so aggressive, bumps all around. And it's only fitting that that is a dribble bump too, as Forkidden even looking for another goal here. Super Lucky himself taking it around the corner. They were able to 4-1 last game. Are they able to do the same thing to Ground Zero in this one?
It's definitely on the table, especially with Scrub leading the charge. Express through the backboard, though, will create some space, keeping it above Super Lucky as well. Eventually, the ball will sail across that middle of the field. Big demo might slow Ground Zero up. Express was the one who cheated forward, setting up Amphis. Banana Head bumped out of the way, but not fast enough. Ground Zero won't convert.
It doesn't matter who you are or what the stakes are. Game 7s are the hardest thing to do in Rocket League. That's when the heart starts pumping. And that's where the mistakes may come out. So at any point in time, they're going to just be pushing for some pressure play. Don't expect too many risks coming out from either team. That's why we're not seeing the bumps coming out from Ground Zero either. They're too risky to take, and they're instead going to go for the midfield. A 50 right in front of net. It's going high. Super Lucky as well was there for the save, despite getting bumped.
Yeah, that was the setup Ground Zero was looking for. Unfortunately, Express just popped a bit too much power behind it. Now we go the other way. Bump. Super Lucky with the bump this time. Banana Head making it 3-1.
They really relied on Express getting that extra touch, but Banana Head just don't care, and Super Lucky was there. They're so frustrating to play right now as Forkidden to go bumps left, right, and center.
I mean, we talk about not wanting to take the risks on the bumps. Again, I don't think Forkidden cares that much. They need this win more. Ground Zero, they can fall back on a third series, I suppose, if they have to. But for Forkidden, it's do or die, and they are doing everything they can. Super Lucky again follows up with the bump on Amphis, even though no one was around for the shot.
Man, Forkidden are 2 goals in the lead, and they're not stopping anytime soon. Scrub going forward, Banana Head scoring everything he possibly can. Super Lucky has been super consistent. And Ground Zero, they're looking like they can't even find a goal if they work as hard as they possibly can. Torsos goes to the pump, but Super Lucky, he knows it's coming, and he just makes sure there's some extra time for the respawn.
Under 2 minutes to go, and not only are the Forkidden fans starting to get excited, I would have to think the Renegades fans are starting to believe as well that maybe there's a chance their team can still hold on to that #1 seed. 100 seconds left in this game, and Banana Head adds another to his total hat trick for the Banana 4-1 lead.
This could be the first ever time that Forkidden beat Ground Zero in an RLCS best of 7. They're doing it in a grand final as well. And Ground Zero, they only have 1:40 if they want to keep it to 2 series.
They've got to find 3 goals against a Forkidden team that's giving them no room. Torsos, though, might have something here underneath. Super Lucky gets it red. Another setup right now. Amphis just bumped off the play before he can find anything. No quarter being given to Ground Zero. They're trying everything, but there's always blue cars in the way.
This is where we're talking about. Ground Zero, if you're taking the shots from there, it always feels like Forkidden feel comfortable to go out for these saves. They're so hard to score unless you can build that room for yourself. And Ground Zero just haven't been able to do it. Now Super Lucky even looking for another one. He's actually just going to take it away. They're willing to hold on to this 3-goal lead.
1 minute to go, and it's looking more and more likely. Express does find the second touch, but no one's underneath to follow it through. Forkidden, they're doing what I think a lot of us would consider a surprise. They're looking to take us to that third best of 7, and they're doing so by going toe-to-toe with a very, very effective-looking Ground Zero. Hats off to the kids. Half a minute to go.
Renegades are looking at this, and all of a sudden, smiles across their faces. No one at the beginning of this series thought that Forkidden could take down Ground Zero in the grand final and stop them from taking the #1 seed. But at this point in time, Forkidden have overtaken this second series in the set. They have done it. Forkidden, the newest kids on the block, the youngest players in OCE, have taken down Ground Zero in series number 2.
They have the work, though. It is only halfway done, and Torsos is going to put another goal through just for good measure, just to extend this one a little bit longer. However, they still have to do it all over again. It's one thing to take your maiden best of 7 victory against Ground Zero. Now just do it again, Yummy. Just go back out on the pitch and do it one more time.
You see, they know that this one's over, and they put it on the ground. Forkidden have done it. They've gone through the second series. They've made a statement. And can they go all the way and take down the third set as well?
I mean, they have the tools to do so, and that's what we learned throughout that series. They got that fast start, but then they were able to bring it back. 2 games match point against them, and that's when they looked arguably at their best. They were taking it to Ground Zero, giving them no space, swarming that ball. I mean, you can take a look at the stats as well. The touches, they favored Ground Zero. The shots, well, they still favored Forkidden, because Forkidden was just taking advantage of every single one of GZ's missed touches.
Ground Zero, they looked like they were struggling, and maybe we'll be looking back at, I think, that game number 6, where there were 2 goals, the crossbar and the post, and neither of them going in for Ground Zero. They're going to be kicking themselves a little bit, that they could have secured the grand final, the first regional win of the season for them, and of course, first seed going over to the major. And now it all comes down to one last series.
One last chance to pull it through and make it happen. It's going to be so intense for them, I would have to believe. I mean, again, Ground Zero, that last hurdle is the hardest, although I am hoping that they're going to be taking this time to sort of reset themselves mentally. Like, take this extra time as a bit of a timeout for them. They do look stronger after timeouts. If they can come through, open up this next series with a quick victory, I still feel like they have to be the favorites, regardless of what just happened.
Welcome back, Jake, as well. A real surprise here. I don't think anyone was expecting that, especially after the first series.
No, Forkidden, they brought that back so well. Just honestly, they looked just so outclassed in that first series, but Scrub having a big start to that series, Banana Head having a gigantic Game 7. This ground dribble bump is just dirty, and Ground Zero, they got to be scratching their head, because especially when they were up 3-2, it looked like that was just going to be easy, finish it up, but no, Forkidden bringing it back, and really well played from them.
This really has been a regional of surprises, though. We've seen so many upsets and so many Game 7s as well throughout this playoff split. I was worried that we wouldn't get to have one on our final day, but of course it has to come through in our grand final. We get at least one of them. It's going to be interesting looking forward, looking towards winter as well. We'll get to there when we get there. I know I shouldn't be looking that far ahead, but like, I'm just so excited for the future of this region.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to see Forkidden be able to, take a best of 7 against Ground Zero, like we were saying. And Ground Zero, it's disappointing for them. They really had the chance to clinch out that #1 seed, but those last 2 games, the finishing was just not what we're used to seeing from Ground Zero.
We've also seen Forkidden at this point take down Direwolves, take down Riot. The 3rd and 4th in, coming into this time. They took down Renegades in a reverse sweep in the last Swiss event, and now they could be taking down Ground Zero. And even if they don't in the grand final, they at least took them in one series, which is all proof in the pudding that from here on out, they're belonging in that top 4 area.
It's a little bit unfair, I feel like, for this narrative, because if they beat Ground Zero, then they can say they beat the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd best team. But if they lose, well, then they've lost to the #1 team. They can't get the 4-3-1 story that I'm sure they would like to see.
Yeah, I mean, Forkidden, they got to be really backing themselves here. They really stepped up, looked like that semi-final kind of gameplay that we were wondering where it was in that first series. And for Ground Zero, I'm expecting them to come back strong. Normally we see them, we saw that timeout in that series. They come out of timeouts very strong. So I'm thinking with this break, they should be able to come back strong, but I'm hoping not to see that kind of timidness that we saw near the end of that series.
We'll see if it does happen. I mean, we've only got one series left of the day. It's the grand final. It all comes down to this next best of 7. Let's go to the break so we can be there as fast as possible.